It may sound unbelievable that a US president is repeatedly pushing to purchase an entire island, one with stunning natural beauty, rich resources, and strategic geopolitical value. The US has a long history with the Greenland, but it's President Donald Trump who has brought the question of acquiring Greenland back into the global spotlight. But why is Trump so obsessed with this remote part of the world? This is the Atlas Shift, and we're diving into Trump's fascination with Greenland, the potential reasons behind his push to acquire it, and the larger geopolitical game at play. Stay with us. Let's rewind. In 2019, US President Donald Trump made headlines when he casually suggested that the United States should buy Greenland. The reaction? Immediate rejection from Denmark, Greenland's governing country, and their Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, who called the proposal absurd and not for sale. The diplomatic fallout was swift, and Trump even canceled a scheduled visit to Denmark. But even after the public rebuke, Trump's interest in Greenland didn't fade. In fact, it intensified. Fast forward to January 2025, and Trump has once again called for the US to acquire Greenland. This time, he has become even more vocal about the necessity of such an acquisition. During his announcement of a new US ambassador to Denmark, Trump stated that for national security and freedom throughout the world, the United States feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. Trump has even hinted at taking more drastic measures, including economic sanctions or potentially military action, if Denmark refuses to cooperate. At first glance, this might seem like a strange obsession. Why would a president push so hard for an island that is not even for sale? To answer that, we need to look deeper into Greenland's strategic significance. Because this isn't about an ordinary piece of real estate. It's about a geopolitical jewel at the heart of one of the world's most contested regions, the Arctic, which is becoming an increasingly critical region for global security, trade, and resources, especially with climate change and rising competition from Russia and China. Despite its image as a cold, remote landmass, Greenland's position in the world is anything but insignificant. Located between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans, Greenland serves as a critical geopolitical nexus, connecting North America to Europe and the Arctic to the world. At the heart of Trump's interest lies national security. Greenland is home to Thule Air Base, a US military facility that plays a vital role in America's missile defense system. Situated just 750 miles from the Arctic Circle, Thule provides the United States with a strategic vantage point for monitoring and countering potential threats from Russia, China, and other hostile entities. The base also plays a crucial role in early warning radar systems, which are essential for detecting ballistic missile launches. In fact, Thule is one of the most important military outposts in the Arctic, and its position offers a superior view of potential missile threats across the northern hemisphere. But it's not just about defense. Greenland holds an increasing amount of geopolitical and economic value due to its abundant natural resources. The island is rich in minerals, including the rare earth elements that are used in advanced technologies. Everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to military hardware. These critical resources are of growing importance in a world where global supply chains are shifting, and countries are racing to secure access to these rare materials. In 2009, a US geological survey revealed that the Arctic region, including Greenland, could hold around 30% of the world's undiscovered natural gas and 13% of its undiscovered oil. As climate change melts the ice sheets and opens up previously unreachable areas, the competition for Arctic resources has grown fiercer. Countries like Russia and China are investing heavily in the region, deploying military assets, icebreakers, and making moves to secure energy reserves. Greenland's location has also become increasingly significant in the context of global shipping routes. As the Arctic ice continues to melt, new maritime passages, such as the Northwest Passage, are becoming accessible for much of the year. These shipping routes, once impassable, offer a more efficient pathway between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, potentially shortening shipping times by up to 40%. For nations like China and the US, these new passages offer a strategic advantage in global trade and military mobility. This growing importance of Greenland isn't just a theory, it's a reality. According to NATO, Russia has significantly increased its military presence in the Arctic in recent years, adding dozens of air bases, icebreakers, and even submarine bases. This has prompted America to rethink its role in the region. While the US has military bases in Alaska, it is behind in the Arctic competition, particularly when it comes to controlling vital routes and resources. Greenland, with its proximity to both Europe and North America, stands as a key strategic asset for any nation looking to secure dominance in the Arctic region. Although Trump's interest in Greenland may seem unusual, but he's not the first US leader to recognize the island's geopolitical significance. Historically, Greenland has been at the center of American strategic interests, dating back to the Cold War. In fact, Greenland was a critical U.S. military outpost during World War II, when the U.S. established Thule base there to protect against potential German attacks in the North Atlantic. The United States' involvement with Greenland continued during the Cold War, when the island's strategic location allowed for early warning radar systems to detect Soviet missile launches, a role that Thule Air Base still plays today. This made Greenland a key asset in the U.S. military's nuclear deterrence strategy. Interestingly, the idea of the U.S. buying Greenland isn't new. In 1946, President Harry Truman proposed purchasing Greenland for $100 million, but the offer was also rejected by Denmark. Despite this, Greenland's location has remained a critical asset for American military and economic interests. Trump's proposal of acquiring Greenland reflects a broader reorientation of U.S. foreign policy, focusing on securing geopolitical advantages in the face of rising threats from both Russia and China. His argument isn't just about Greenland's geography, it's also about the island's economic value, particularly its vast untapped mineral resources. Given the growing importance of these materials in the global economy, and the current Chinese hold over the production and processing of these minerals, control over Greenland's resources could offer a significant strategic advantage for the U.S. Trump's renewed interest in Greenland, along with his more aggressive rhetoric, has sparked further reactions from both Denmark and Greenland. During a press conference, Trump again stressed that Greenland's strategic importance warranted a re-examination of its status. He even suggested the U.S. could consider high-level tariffs on Denmark if it refused to cooperate, adding that military force could be on the table if necessary. This provocative stance has resulted in sharp condemnation from both European allies and experts. Former U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken criticized Trump's claims, calling them obviously one that's not going to happen. Similarly, international leaders from countries like Germany and France expressed concern over Trump's growing fixation on Greenland, emphasizing that such proposals undermine international norms. However, some former Trump administration officials see his renewed interest as more than just a vanity project. Alexander Gray, former chief of staff at the National Security Council, argued that Trump's interest in Greenland should be viewed as part of a broader reorientation of U.S. foreign policy towards a more traditional approach to national security. This combination of repeated proposals, rhetorical escalation, and resistance from Denmark suggests that Trump is not backing down, believing that the strategic benefits of Greenland outweigh the diplomatic fallout. From the perspective of Greenland's citizens and leaders, Trump's repeated calls for the acquisition of the island have been met with resistance, and rightly so. Greenlandic Prime Minister Mute B. Egede has emphasized that Greenland's future is for the Greenlandic people to decide, stating that Greenland belongs to the people of Greenland. Our future and fight for independence is our business. This sentiment reflects a growing independence movement on the island, where many feel that Greenland's unique cultural identity and self-rule should not be compromised by foreign interests. Greenland, though an autonomous territory of Denmark, has its own parliament and government, and many in the region have expressed a desire for full independence. Currently, Greenland is mostly self-governing, with Denmark retaining control over defense and foreign affairs. The Greenlandic people have shown increasing interest in shaping their own future, with some officials openly advocating for complete independence. However, there is no broad consensus on what that future would look like. In 2008, Greenland held a referendum that transferred more powers from Denmark to the local government, marking a significant milestone in its path toward greater self-determination. Yet, Greenland still depends heavily on Denmark for financial support, as Denmark contributes 2/3 of the island's budget. Should Greenland ever move toward full independence, the island's economic viability would be a major concern, especially considering its small population of around 57,000 and limited infrastructure. Trump's proposals for U.S. involvement in Greenland's future, especially the notion of U.S. military presence and economic aid, raise concerns about undermining the island's sovereignty. There's also the question of how Greenland would balance foreign military influence, particularly from Russia and China, which are increasingly vying for a foothold in the Arctic. As Greenland's independence movement continues to grow, the future of the island will likely depend on several factors, including its economic future and the evolving geopolitical landscape. One possibility is a scenario where Greenland eventually secures full independence from Denmark, but this would likely come with economic and defense agreements to ensure its stability in the face of external pressures. One such arrangement could involve a compact of free association, COFA, a type of agreement that the U.S. has with other Pacific island nations like Micronesia, Palau, and the Marshall Islands. Under such a deal, Greenland would maintain its sovereignty while entering into a military and economic partnership with the United States. This would allow the US to have military access to Greenland, critical for monitoring Russian and Chinese activity in the Arctic, while providing Greenland with economic aid and support for its defense infrastructure. In this scenario, Greenland could become a key player in the Arctic geopolitics, with the US offering defense guarantees in exchange for access to critical resources. Greenland's people, however, remain adamant that they do not want to become an appendage of the US. As Greenlandic Prime Minister Egede stated, "Our future is our business." Thanks for watching. But what do you think? Is Trump's obsession with Greenland a matter of national security, or is it something else entirely? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global issues.